Here's the main problem with feminism and with all of these left groups that are trying to change the direction of Western culture is that it needs to be a discussion, not a demand. It needs to be talked about so both sides, the left and the right, can hone it into something that really works. You know, that women want certain things, but all the women, they don't know exactly what needs to happen. They just realize that there's a patriarchy and that they're not getting the respect that they deserve. And men have to realize that that's true, and for a lot of reasons, Christianity, Eve, that whole setup, we don't look at women and respect all of the things they do, and that they're half of the yin and yang, that they keep us going, that without them, none of this would have worked. And we respect it somewhat because it's in our own lives. The things they do as wives and mothers, we know are completely irreplaceable. But that's not the same thing as having that idea writ large, like we have God and Jesus, two men in heaven, no women. And it's important to have those kind of large symbols. And so this gives us an opportunity to discuss what is a woman? What do women do? And stop the patriarchy and make it masculine and feminine together, both equally respected, but for what they are, and not women trying to be men. And that's what most of the feminists did, is said, we want all the rights you have. Well, that's fair, but then they want, we didn't discuss, well, listen, you shouldn't be a policeman down in the inner city. You can't fight those guys that need to be, there are things that have to be worked out. No, those girls cannot play on the boys' football team. That's those little boys' team. And they deserve a team without girls, because once you bring a girl into the mix, all the boys change and they need to be alone and get to have time to be boys and then see the girls at other times. And that's become obvious because it's obvious you don't want the guys on the girls' team. Well, it's the same thing in reverse, but it was a little girl. And all of this needs to be worked out and talked about, and we can actually make society better for everyone. And we can start respecting women for everything they do, which is half of everything that's lifted Western civilization to this point. And if you look back at the Greeks, which is really our religious history in the West, women had a lot more respect in that mythology than they do in Christian mythology. And that is a very big influence. And we really need to stop and look at all of this and reevaluate and try to do things that will move us forward instead of what we're doing now, which is going to tear the whole thing apart.